There are some new faces on the Tacoma City Council.
Frozen pipes can play havoc this time of year.
And practice makes perfect for the Tacoma Fire Department.
All that and more on this edition of Tacoma Report.
Hello, I'm Laura Proctor.
And I'm Angie Foster. 4 new members and 1 familiar face have taken their seats on the Tacoma City Council. Former council member Victoria Woodards was recently sworn in as mayor. Also joining the council is Catherine Ushka, who represents District 4, and the District 5 seat is held by Chris Beal. An at-large council member, Lillian Hunter, round out the new members. They will join Deputy Mayor Anders Ispin and council members Keith Blocker, Ryan Mello, Connor McCarthy, and re-elected council member Robert Toms. To learn more about the City of Tacoma Council, visit cityoftacoma.org/citycouncil. The City Council has a lot of work ahead of them as 2018 begins,
including a recently conducted survey from randomly selected households. Respondents had the opportunity to identify which services they feel are important, which service areas have improved over time, and which ones can improve in the future. The community survey will assess the city's performance and help the city better understand community members' perceptions of these service areas. The survey findings will also help define the community's current priorities and aid the city's ongoing planning and improvement processes. Speaking of priorities, the Tacoma Fire Department knows that ongoing training is essential for both safety and job performance. Tacoma Report's Lane Fickey takes a look at one hands-on aspect of fire training.
The majority of the training for the Tacoma Fire Department takes place here at their training center on the Tide Flats. But when it comes to actual hands-on firefighter practicing, that's done on location at training burns. The Tacoma Fire Department tries to have 2 live training burns each year. Usually a homeowner who wants their building to be demolished will allow the fire department to practice on their structure. Training burns consist of more than just lighting the building on fire and burning it to the ground. Fires are actually lit and then put out multiple times using different scenarios. This allows firefighters to get a first-hand feel on what they'll be experiencing when they arrive at an actual scene.
Live fire training in a controlled environment is really one of the best ways to develop firefighter skills. Firefighters practice hose handling, fire attack, they observe fire behavior. They sometimes will practice what we call rapid intervention crew of a firefighter having a mayday situation, and we'll send the crew in to rescue a trapped firefighter. So there's a lot of things that they can practice in that live fire training environment. You can only do simulation so much. There's no way to simulate going up and down a staircase with a really heavy hose line in a fire environment until you actually do it. And so there's a great deal of benefits for our firefighters using these training burn situations.
A lot of time and effort goes into having the training burn actually take place, especially behind the scenes. There are many governing issues that must be met before this hands-on learning lesson occurs.
Our training division staff coordinates the regulatory aspects with the different agencies. Firefighters actually spend several hours at the site of a house removing all types of hazardous materials, so the roofing and the plastics. We often add extra sheetrock in our burn rooms, and so there's a lot of preparation work that goes on behind the scenes.
Most training burns last an entire day, probably a lot longer than firefighters will be at an actual fire scene. But the more practice that's put in during these sessions equates to a much safer and efficient time when the actual event happens. For Tacoma Report, I'm Lane Fickey.
If you're interested in donating your home so it can be used for training, contact Tacoma Fire Battalion Chief Lee Law at 253-591-5725.
The city's Neighborhood and Community Services Department has teamed up with the city's Office of Arts and Cultural Vitality to launch an Artist in Residence program. The idea is to focus on re-engaging public spaces for positive use in Tacoma.
The Artist in Residence program is very exciting for the city because it's the first time that we've actually engaged an artist in residence here in Tacoma. And in particular, in our site reclamation program, it will provide us an opportunity to not only physically change space, but also to hopefully put a human face on homelessness through the work of the artist connecting with the community.
The city hired 2 artists to participate in the program, and work began last month. The artists will create engaging public spaces and help inform the community about homelessness. We're going to take a quick break.
And when we come back, we've got some great tips on how to prevent some problems caused by cold weather. Stay with us. Sub-freezing temperatures can spell trouble for your home's plumbing and a messy inconvenience for you. If you haven't already prepared for winter's cold, Tacoma Water reminds us it's still not too late. John Phillips has the story.
During those winters when Arctic air moves in and ducks are able to walk on water, a few hours of freezing weather can mean disaster at home. Frozen water pipes can burst open and create a flood as they thaw. A few simple measures can help you avoid a huge mess and costly repairs.
As we all know, water expands when it turns into ice.
Make sure yard hoses are disconnected and drained. Install one of these hose bib covers to protect the pipe just inside the wall from freezing.
If you have exposed pipes in an unheated basement or a crawl space, you can insulate them using simple foam like this you can get from any hardware store, and you can cut it to size to fit any pipe that you need.
Always keep a little heat on in the house if you leave. Set the thermostat to at least 55 degrees.
When temperatures really plunge, Tacoma Water recommends that you open up the cabinets under your sink so that the warm air has a chance to circulate around those pipes.
A small trickle from a faucet to circulate water through your household plumbing system will also help. It's very important for you to know how to react quickly to turn off the main water supply line coming into your home. The main valve is usually in the basement or crawl space closest to the water meter location. For Tacoma Report, I'm John Phillips.
If you have questions about finding your main household water supply shutoff valve, call Tacoma Water's trouble line at 253-502-8384.
It's time once again for Harvest Pierce County's annual seed swap, potluck, and story share. Every seed has a story, and this event celebrates this by inviting participants to share a seed-related tale. Other activities include a traditional seed swap and potluck. This event is free, with attendees encouraged to bring something to share, either extra seeds or a potluck dish. Kick off the planting season by attending this event on Thursday, February 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. at St. Leo's Church in Tacoma. RSVP for the event today at the Harvest Pierce County site. It's unfortunate, but sometimes a portion of food in this country goes unused and is discarded.
But there's a movie that helps with this issue, and you can watch it here in Tacoma. Residents are invited to a free community screening of an inspirational film that's exploring an important issue. Save the date for Wednesday, January 31st to see the recently released film Wasted, the story of food waste. Audiences will watch well-known chefs demonstrate how they make the most of every kind of food. This screening is being held at the Star Center with doors opening at 6 p.m. and the film starting at 6:30. Participants are encouraged to arrive early to enjoy refreshments and secure a good seat. To RSVP, visit the city site.
Food waste is also one of the topics in the winter edition of Urban Green, which is currently airing on TV Tacoma. We'll get a lesson on what to do with food that commonly gets discarded. Host Stacey Ellifrit talks about a program that explores the question, what's the problem with wasted food? We'll also take a look at a tool library that's promoting reuse, access, and shared knowledge. And finally, we'll have a quick segment on making a green oven cleaner and how to prune your blueberry bushes. Catch the latest episode playing here on TV Tacoma. Visit the city site for a listing of air dates. Now don't go away, because when we come back from the break, we're going to find out more about technology recruitment.
Tacoma is a great place to locate a business. We'll tell you why after this. Tacoma is the Puget Sound region's newest emerging tech hub.
Wondering why startups find this city so appealing? Maria Lee has this story.
In Tacoma, the possibilities are limitless for a variety of reasons, whether it's balance.
The cost of doing business and also the cost of living is lower in Tacoma, which makes it just kind of less stressful when you're trying to run a new enterprise like a startup or really grow the business.
Or access to talent.
We're really lucky. We have the ability to pull from not only the local universities who have an amazing amount of talent, whether it's UW-Tacoma, PLU, or University of Puget Sound, and even the community colleges are really turning out very bright, young, talented people that are looking for a next opportunity.
Or a special combination of advantages that makes Tacoma the perfect fit.
As a startup, there were three primary reasons. The first one was cost of doing business was much lower here. And from a competitive landscape perspective, it gave us an edge. We were able to deliver services a lot less expensively than some of our competitors. The second reason was just quality of life. We already lived here, and we knew that we could spend more time actually building the products and services that our clients use rather than spending the 2+ hours commuting every day that we were before. We really value this community.
The consensus seems to be that there is no better place for tech startups than Tacoma. For Tacoma Report, I'm Maria Lee.
If you're considering establishing, locating, or growing your business in Tacoma, visit makeittacoma.com, the City of Tacoma Community and Economic Development Department's new dedicated business web portal.
Along with the new $12 minimum wage, some changes to paid sick leave have recently taken effect. To learn more about how Tacoma's paid sick leave has been updated to align with state law, come to an info session on Thursday, February 8th from 10 to 11:30 a.m. in the downtown Tacoma Public Library. Last month, the Tacoma City Council adopted a resolution that established a Commission on Immigrant and Refugee Affairs. The purpose of this commission is to better engage Tacoma's immigrant and refugee communities and to work with community partners to identify and advance positive outcomes for them. The City Council is looking to appoint 11 positions and 1 alternate, including 1 youth or young adult member under the age of 25. All members must have experience with immigrant issues. If you're interested in serving on this commission, apply online at cityoftacoma.org/CBC application.
Last year, the city partnered with an organization to provide a text line for people who are experiencing a mental health crisis. The crisis text line connects people with counselors through a text message system that rapidly analyzes words in the text to better help people. The system has been so successful throughout the country and in Tacoma that the service is expanding to the region.
Well, this is important to the city as we continue to go through different types of economic climate and changes and with our homeless population and our social wellness and different things. So this is a free service to our residents so that can help them cope and help them to address different barriers.
New signs with the text line and the word HEAL will be coming to Tacoma in the near future to make the service even more accessible to residents who need it. That's all the time we have on this edition of Tacoma Report.
A great way to find out about all of the services the City of Tacoma has to offer is by going to cityoftacoma.org. Until next time, I'm Angie Foster.
And I'm Laura Proctor. Thanks for watching.